Isn't it strange that to not know oneself is common? To hear someone say, "I don't know what I want," is normal. To go after something in life, achieve it, and then realize you don't like it at all is commonplace. And yet extremely few people are interested in the blaringly obvious reality. We are completely out of touch with entire chunks of who we are. Part of our identity is submerged below the surface, and some researchers even say that 90% of decisions are made by the subconscious mind. Surely I can't be the only one who's a tad bit curious? Okay, so maybe more than a tad. I've spent the past several years using myself as a guinea pig for shadow work, which I define as the processes and practices that illuminate subconscious content that was previously kept in the dark. I wanted to see for myself how far this path could go. And the reason was I wanted to access the power to live a better life naturally, and ideally help other people do the same. Without struggle, without depression, without anxiety, low self-esteem, addiction, disempowerment, and all the issues that seem to plague larger and larger portions of the population. I firmly believe that our collective subconscious is creeping up on us. We are running out of room, out of storage space in the subconscious for everything that wants to hit the air. And so the information that was closest to the surface is now spilling out into the collective consciousness. Just look at how the news has changed. Look at what's happening in the world. Everything is a controversy. Everything is constantly being leaked to the public. Why so much secrecy? It's because we've been keeping secrets from ourselves. As within, so without. Discerning this subconscious information has been a whole lot like drawing in the dark. But the deeper I went, the more fascinating it got. Troubling memories that I'd long since forgotten, pain and trauma that had been sitting dormant for decades, shame, guilt, grief, anger, screaming for attention, sudden realizations about patterns I'd been stuck in for years, piles upon piles of realizations. Reinventing myself over and over as more information came through. Of course, it wasn't actually reinventing, it was integration. What Carl Jung calls bridging the gap between the conscious and subconscious. Also, the inspiration for the Exist Better logo. Fun fact. Anyway, my life wasn't radically different on the outside after doing all this shadow work. I wasn't a millionaire. In fact, I probably looked a mess, bouncing from apartment to apartment, job to job, quitting things, getting rid of things, battling my resistance and losing every time. But I was changing internally, becoming smarter, less triggered, braver, and ever more hungry for information. It was kind of like that Karate Kid montage, but much slower and way less cool to watch. I started to see other people's shadows, egos, and the masks that they wore, and the tools they used to distract themselves. And so most social events became boring and unfulfilling. It's not that I felt I was better than other people. I just couldn't relate, or I didn't want to relate, and slipped back into patterns like complaining about money, or cursing the government, or joining a subculture where everyone looks and acts exactly the same. My only outlet in life for any of this information was Exist Better, and it felt imperative to keep it alive. In part 2, I'll talk about why self-awareness is no longer an option, and why working with the subconscious is well worth your time and energy.